Good evening. Good evening. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good. It's still 17. How y'all doing this evening? Y'all doing good? That's good. That's good. Y'all creative faith. I just want to let everybody know mother's doing good, baby's doing good. Um, for all the prayers, we are showing appreciation. Uh, but you know what I'm about to say, even with Kaylee, I feel like it. Me and mom. No, they're not. They're not. My mother-in-law, I think, is really so, yeah, okay. All right. All right. Easy. Creating developer thing. That's what we're talking about this here Wednesday. Creating developer. Just pray real quick. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for another opportunity to just come together to study. We ask, Lord, that each and every individual, Lord, again, that is even a team ministry, blessed by the word. In Jesus' name, amen. So creating faith comes what are you listening to? My faith means exercise, and the word of God causes increase in every area of life. Activation prayer has God's faith. Faith is birthed through hearing the word of God. It is faith in Him, not just what you need from God, but to ask yourself, is my faith what I want? Faith that is found in Romans chapter verse 17. And is we look at that. We want to examine it. Because what you find is that Paul is reflecting on um, he's reflecting on more or less Jesus' ministry. So we know that Christ came first to the Jew, um, who some believe, some heard the message, some believe, but some rejected his message. Some rejected his message. So when we look at this portion of scripture, um, that is what Paul is kind of getting. So and we're gonna talk a little bit, and we're gonna go. All righty. So faith comes from hearing. What are you listening? In weeks past, we've talked a lot about um, the gospel, right? The good news of Jesus Christ. We've talked a lot about that and what that encompasses and what that is, right? We know that the good news of Christ is encompassed in um, everything that God did through Christ Jesus, right? And ultimately, what God did through Christ Jesus is what saved us. So we know that Christ is fully God, um, flesh. He lived on this earth. He faced some of the struggles that we face, and he lived a life that is perfect. He lived a life that was perfect, and that's important because if he had not lived a life that was perfect, um, his sacrifice would have been um, wouldn't have been valid. Thank you, Elder. It wouldn't have been valid. It wouldn't have fulfilled what God did, right? And so we understand. We understand this. He, he lived his life. He was um, beaten and killed. Um, and then the next wonderful thing was he didn't stay dead. He rose. Right? He rose. And so he rises. He doesn't look. He goes to he has something precious Holy Spirit that comfort, paracletos, that comfort, that help he seeks his place, right? And so we know all of that. And so it's important to realize when faith comes by hearing, right? It's important listening to the right thing. We, 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 we have to make sure the 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 truths that we hear about God that line up with the word of God, right? And I say that to say like religion, right? And a lot of these religions have their own view of who Jesus Christ is, right? And so if one can't believe that Jesus isn't missed, yeah. If another can't believes that he was just a prophet, they missed it because he was born, right? Because since he was God, he knew all things. Right? And so we understand that faith in God, um, literally hearing, reading the word, understanding and knowing who God is. And we can only get to that by reading His word. So, so we get to the memory verse, which is in Romans chapter 10, verse 17. It says, "So faith comes from what is heard through the message of Christ." CSB version of the Bible, and I like how that reads. Let me, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up um, um, to 14. He says, can they call on how then can they call on him they have how then can they call on him they have not believed in? And how can they believe without hearing about him? And how can they hear a word? How can they hear without a preacher? And how can they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news, but not all obey the gospel. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our message? So faith comes from what is the message about Christ. But I asked, did they not hear? Yes, they did. The voice has gone out to the whole earth, and the words to the ends and the words to the ends of the world. Stop right there. So Paul says, hey, how can they hear without a preacher? We're talking about creating in the faith. So me, TA, parents, so whatever you call it, I got saved about 12, right? Um, I remember sitting over there, and Elder Brown. I don't know if you guys remember Brown. Elder Brown was preaching was on Easter Sunday, and Elder Brown, he was in preaching, and I don't necessarily remember what he was preaching about, but I heard something. I said, you know what? I think today the day I'm making. He said something that just clicked in my head, right? And so that day I gave my life to Christ. And so, and so, Paul was saying, how can they hear without a preacher? So a lot of times when we think about preaching, we think about somebody who brings the word on Sunday, right? You know, he's a preacher. But when we get down to the very to the very to the meaning of this word, that word in its original language just means to proclaim, right? So how many people here can proclaim? Everybody should raise their hand because we all proclaim. We all um share something, right? We do it every day. We do it every day. It may not be always or Bible and God. We share information every single day. Sharing it or receiving. And so, and so he says, and how can they hear without preaching? How can someone who is living a life contrary to God, the life God wants to live, if no one tells Paul says in some of the latter chapters is that the purpose of the law, right, was to show that we needed was to show. I gotta find it's in the first couple chapters of okay, good deal. Appreciate it. Um, but 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 Paul he tells us that we need Christ, right? Because we can't fulfill the requirements that God set without him. As a matter of fact, even with him, we couldn't fulfill it. It was he that fulfilled it. And his righteousness was accounted to us, right? And so, and so, how can someone without a share? That's the beautiful part about being outside these beautiful walls. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into breaking down, right? But it's great when you see somebody um, just listen and hear at what's being said, right? It's beautiful to see that because if we understand that faith comes by hearing, I can't believe something I have no knowledge of. I can't believe something that you know what I'm saying? Like I was gonna say I can't see, but we don't see God, but I believe He exists. I believe He's there. I believe He's real. Whether I can feel Him, touch Him, see Him, right? But 7:7. Let me 7:7. Let's see. I think that's what I'm looking for. I think it's like chapter 2 or maybe 3. I remember seeing it. Could be. But but that's but but um um we have so that's like I said that's the beautiful part. You see people who you don't normally see. Just stop the car, walk up to hear if we um are understanding that faith is produced by what we hear, right? It makes it more important that we understand that and I'm not saying everybody can be like scholar, everybody not preacher, pastor, everybody, we might not do nothing great, right? We might not be on TV, we might not be have these big churches that are packed every single week. We might not ever be there, right? But it does not change the fact that um, we can still proclaim the good news that we know. Right? And if we keep it very basic, it's the fact that a man died and we were undeserved, right? And so, so that's the thing. That's the thing. And it's Galatians 3:23. This is it. Romans 3:23. Before, oh, Galatians, okay, Galatians 3:23. Before this faith came, we were confined to faith was revealed. The law then was authority, right? So that we could be justified by faith. But since that faith has come, that faith being Jesus Christ, but since that faith is that 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 since the very beginning, Jesus is coming, his death, burial, and resurrection was the that was when you read Old Testament writings where Abraham is promised, God promises nations. Back when Adam and Eve were cursed, he says, "Hey, your feet will trap the serpent's head." He's literally talking about the defeating sin, defeating the evil one, right? And even talking about Abraham, when you begin to study Jesus, you'll know that Jesus came from Abraham's lineage, right? And he says, "Hey, you'll be father of many nations." Not this physical family, but this spiritual family, right? Even though when you related by blood, right? You all are my brothers and sisters, all right? And so when you look at it, and when you even look at Hebrews, the hallway of faith, the hallway, Abraham, David, um, hall hero, there you go. It says that it was accounted for Abraham righteousness because of his faith, because he believed. Right? The Abraham was in a place of receiving all these promises without never really seeing it. He didn't see Jesus, right? But he believed God in spite of. Right? He believed God in spite of. And that goes right back to the very basic faith comes from him. He heard God, he responded, and he believed. He took God at his word. Right? Even though he told him to leave out his house, he didn't know where he was going. He was afraid. But he got up and he left. He obeyed. And so that kind of goes into the next um exercise. Stretch beyond what I want in my view. Right? We see that playing on Abraham, right? Someone who didn't really even when it came to Abraham with his son Isaac, right? He was in a position where he was gonna kill him, right? But he believed that like, if I kill him, he gonna bring him to life. He gonna listen. I love you enough to obey what you said. Look, I believe. Don't kill the lamb. He's going to his ram and sacrifice his ram, right? And so a lot of times what we'll find is especially in the difficult times, I should say, right? God is always like, will you just believe him? Will you just trust him? No matter how hard it is. And you find that that in those times when faith is stretched the most, you know what I'm saying? When you're going through something, you don't know what to do. You just see a long way you gotta go. You see a little light down there. You in the dark, you don't know what you're gonna trip. Headed right toward that light. And it's therefore, since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. We have also obtained access to Him by faith into this grace in which we stand. God. Right? And so we see that one day. Just some of the things that are available to us. But my faith needs to be the word of God causes increase in every area of my life. How is that to be true? How is that to be true? We, we read the word, we believe it. Just with the verse I just read, just with the verse Romans 5:1. Therefore, since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Right? How many people um, would say that they would have a little bit easier time here if they had some peace? Right? I think we would, right? I think we would. And the scripture tells us, therefore, since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God through Jesus Christ. And then we get to uh, is my faith only for what I want God? A lot of times, may not necessarily be a bad. Um, a lot of times you have people wanting to be a part based on what they can get. A lot of times you see that. And for a long time, I thought that wasn't necessarily a good thing, right? But now that I think about it, I do believe that God will literally do whatever He needs to do to get you to see. So that God will literally do whatever He needs to get you to see. I mean, we talk about some of the drastic transformation. Who is the one that did not want anything. He was he beat, he killed, he imprisoned me, right? But he had this encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus that changed his life. And so we look at is my faith only for what I want or what God wants. And a lot of times just coming to the faith have a I want to say childlike understanding, but have I'll say immature understanding of how everything works. We may start like that, but the more that we get in our word, the more that we learn, right? That what becomes more important to us is what God, right? Because ultimately, um, if we serve a God that is powerful, we have to understand, we have to believe that He knows, right? He knows what best for us. So if I serve a God that knows what's best for me, right? I might think I know what's best for me, but I don't. I don't. You know, a lot of times, um, we like we still have flesh that we still battle with. A lot of times, my flesh might be like, this is best for you, right? This might not be what God wants. You know, it might not be what He wants, right? But the more we mature in our faith, we mature in our walk, right? The more and more we start to understand and we see um, what God wants for us, right? And that is really out in Scripture. We see that we have peace. Right? right? Peace, peace. A lot of times we live life, we struggle with things. And one thing that um started hanging on to, right, was the fact that, man, you know what? I'm only gonna be here for a certain amount of time, right? The stuff that I'm stressing over, the stuff that I am worrying about, um, ain't gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna last forever. I should not spend. I should. I should. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll take some time to come up with a solution and try to see if we can solve it. But worry about whether I solve it or not, it has no ways. So it's my favorite now. The person whose faith is worth hearing the word, hearing but it is faith in Him that is from God. Um, I think it's, if we're talking about developing faith, you see the progression of 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 one um who might be saved for a year, who might be saved for 30, right? Because the person has the opportunity to see how God moves so many different ways. Right? And we have bigger faith. Not to say the person you never know. You never know. But 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 we see that we're talking about developing faith. Hearing is a crucial hearing and what we're hearing is a crucial part. Um, so that's that. Crucial part. So I want to throw a question up there, right? Um, we got a few different people here who have been saved for a number of different years, right? What would you say is, and what would you say is a way that God has um, stretched your faith or caused it to be stronger? So, um, I am 31, 32 at the end of the month. And new baby. Now, some people who might have 5 kids already want their kids might, might think otherwise, but this is me. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Simply because 3-year-old back there, that 3-year-old, some days she don't know how to act, and she don't know how to have language. She wanna be big sister, feed it. One thing I didn't think I needed really was patience, but clearly I'm wrong because definitely, I definitely need a little bit dealing with her and 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 the newborn. My faith has been exercised. I have really been trusting God how I should conduct myself as a father and how I should um um yes and deal with my wife, right? And I tell you, I'm so thankful for the Holy Spirit because in my younger years I always had acting before I thought. So before I took the time to think about it, I would just act. And so in my I don't say latter years, but in my mid latter years, mid latter, at the mid latter years of my life, the Holy Spirit has really helped me to just slow down and kind of just think things through, right? Think things through and um, not jump the gun, if you will, so quickly, you know. thankful that, especially if you're someone who recognizes where you were and then where you are now. So I think at this point in my life, family is really what's um exercising my faith. Because I'm really finding myself in a place where I have to um and I'll say God through His Word, through stewardship with the brothers, how to really um deal with my kids, right? Because you see a lot of people out here that's crazy. So just you look at me like, hey, Lord, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to go down there. Right? And so, I'm really looking forward to where he's taking us, the next year and whatnot. I'm thankful to be in this position. I don't know if you raise your hand, reach out, but I'm going to go back to, yeah, yeah. The point B is my faith is exercise. Exercise. Yeah, any specific, not really specific. Um, yeah, anything was sure. Right, anything was sure. It's cool. Y'all know me. Question right there. You want to share? I appreciate it.
All right, so in sharing, I'm new in my faith with my walk with Christ. Grew up in church, but as of recently, I have accepted and decided to follow His word, not just say God in the heart.
My
So,
good steps out.
so, so I guess I have stretched my faith in the sense of staying patient with me. So, like you said, being impulsive. A lot of times now, if I need a decision, I'll pray about it. And when I don't hear back, the time that I feel I should
Yeah,
hear back,
yeah,
I wait and I've learned to be patient. Instead of saying, well, he ain't about to do it, so let me go ahead and make things work. In doing that, a lot of things have gone better than what I even hoped for. So just me staying patient, staying vigilant in my prayer, in my word, and seeking God before I make any decision. It's been one thing He's done for me to exercise and stretch my faith.
mhm. Oh, I mean, I always think I think about um, Abraham. Abraham woman serves right? She was past the age of childbearing. But God told her, hey, son, have a son. And the Bible specifically says that she couldn't have and and I say that because I'm coming from a point of impatience or sort of figured out about it. And that's what she did. She said, all these years, all these years, hey, go. And Clement passed away has part of the story of even though Ishmael wasn't the promise, he was still blessed. You know what I'm saying? So even when we get to those points where, okay, we say we're going to do it on we just figure it out. We can do it. We exercise patience. We figure out what God still shows mercy and grace, right? Even when we don't hold out, even when we don't deserve it, even when we don't wait for his response, right? Go ahead, brother. My thing is, I've been waiting for this paper for years. I tried everything could, you know, it's still, people ask me about this faith. I don't really want to talk about it. My faith ain't strong enough to be patient with these people. Okay, and it's a lot of other things too. My anger, that's another point. But my thing is, I know that God's been with me because I'm here right now. I'm living at 65. I got friends that ain't live. They ain't live to be 30. But my thing is, my faith is far in certain things, not as strong as it should be. And I know I lack in prayer. I let things get me angry, you know. And sometimes I take it out on other people. But I realize it. I realize my fault. But my faith is sometimes not strong enough to, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Right. My faith is something I ask God for. Like it says in the word, if you ask your son through his son Jesus, the son will go back to God and the request will be granted. My request has not been granted. I'm dishing out this money, people helping me, but it's not working. So my faith part is this faith in a few other things. It's not strong. It's not strong. So I'm gonna be realistic because I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. And this is what Bible studies for. You give out let your feelings be known. So right now my faith ain't strong. So I mean I still deal with them. I still talk to them. I get angry with them, you know, but I still talk to them. I still and I get into the word and I can find this book. If somebody say go to Galatians, I go right to Galatians. I know it. Even though I leaders, mom and dad, they good, pastor, first lady, they good. The cook and brought me to this church. But I didn't even have a church. He was my teacher. But as being here over years, I know they kind of have to realize, even though I was out in the world, that was about some churches too. You know. But right now, like coming to church now, I'm still coming to church and nothing can stop me doing that. Nobody, no person, you know. And I can come to church and look at it, pray, and say nothing. I'm here to worship God. So that's my question. I had a question where it says, faith comes from hearing. What are you listening to? That's a question. Okay. So my question is, my answer is, you listen to what God is saying, and you trust what God is saying. So that's the question. But as far as I'm concerned, so you will see, um, so you was a little shaky in this particular area. So when you say when we say that, we're not saying okay, you don't believe in God, you believe in real, but you say your faith is a little shaky. You believe in God. Um, and so so that's actually a really good thing because okay, okay, so I wanted to check this channel because let's talk about the first. But let's look at the fact she got here alive. She got here. Um, faith can be a difficult place. You, I don't think it's say, I don't have faith to be patient, right? Okay. So the power of faith says that it doesn't matter how long you it also says, in my frustration, I trust God. In the lack of response from the people, Um, and here is the stretching of faith. The stretching of faith says, there's no room for improvement. But faith says that if I don't see it, I'm still going to hold on to what he said. Here's the stretching of faith. You admitted it, you didn't even realize it. You said, I don't have the patience to have faith. In your stretching of faith, you don't realize, but the patience is being developed because you got to wait. You have to wait. There's nothing that I can do, no matter how mad you get. If you chill, it's not going to make it faster. If you say something, it's not going to make it faster. If you don't say something, it's not going to make it faster. Faith is not developed because I preach my shop needs. Faith is developed because I try. Faith grows in trial. Because when the impossible, we already know the scripture, faith comes in. If you have to hope for it, it's faith. If you don't have to hope for it, it ain't no faith. I don't need faith for something that I can go and buy. I don't need it. I don't need faith for something that I can see. I don't have to, you know how we be, I got faith for God gonna give me this stuff. That ain't faith. That's money.
Credit.
That's credit.
That's all you got to get.
You can see
You
it.
can do it.
Hey, my credit is bad. And I ain't got the money. Then we're talking faith. It's not faith. You know what I'm saying? God's going to give me a land that was Israel. He's not giving me no land. You know,
Now, go ahead. Go ahead, son.
Okay.
I want to hear it. Go ahead.
We are, our ability to operate in faith has everything to do with His word, what I can get. Faith says, just like when the children of Israel, nobody ever asked the question that after 400 years, then God stepped into deliver Israel. Nobody questioned that. Nobody ever thought to say, why you wait 400 years? You couldn't wait 30 years? Like a year? 2 years, 10 years. I learned my lesson. After being in here for 3 years, I learned 400 years, generation on top of generation on top of generation. And continue to the point where now they're being pressured. He did not step in until they were pressured to not worship. You know that? Because the reason Moses came down, God told him to go to Pharaoh. You know what he told Pharaoh? Let my people go so that they can. The faith don't change because it's difficult. Faith increases because it's difficult. When you start going through those difficult times of process and you still holding on to God, I know it's difficult. Let's look at Job. Life was hard for Job. I mean, it got real bad. His skin started to come apart. He had herpes and leprosy all over his face, and his wife told him to curse God because a lot of people think that it was just because she wasn't an Israelite, but that was an act of mercy. We want to see you say. So go ahead and hurt yourself so that we can just go ahead and get this done with. His kids, all he was sacrificing for his kids, you know. They was partying and stuff, and he trusted God to take care of them. House fell on the kids. The servant destroyed. Boom. His cattle. Boom. So his business is gone. His children is gone. His house is gone. His wife leaves. His friends come to him. So all of his support systems now are completely destroyed. His initial response. Lord give, Lord take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Now guess what happened after that? He started complaining. Don't get caught in your humanity discrediting his divinity. Just because you fall into humanity does not mean that he's not God. Does not mean that you don't trust him. That means he's going to have to elevate your faith. And the quicker your faith elevates and you say, hey, if I get it or if I don't, look, he's still God. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
at the end of the day, Job stayed in it. He had to stay in it. It was horrible for him. Friends came and told him God showed up and like, you all of this stuff to say. This is why when people say, I'm not supposed to question God. Job is a book of questioning God. The whole thing. Just be ready for his response when you question him. Because he questioned, and then at the end, the last two chapters, God showed up and was like, listen, I don't sat here and listen to you all this time, but you don't know what my plan is. You never knew. You weren't there when I hung the snowbanks in heaven. You weren't there when I stretched the firmament. You weren't there for any of this stuff. You cried out to me, I forgot to trust you. I'm trusting you again all over again. We get all of this stuff back. Here's what the thing is. You don't get the stuff back because you trust him. I think that's the beautiful part about it. Whether you gonna get or not get nothing back, just trust. So I think that's my creating and developing faith. When you talk about some kind of perfected mature, right? You talk about not saying nothing, saying nothing. But when you can get to a place, I ain't there yet. I'm still trying to get there. When you can get to a place to where, man, if it don't happen, I still trust it. I still not right. And I know it's difficult. It's difficult. You know what I'm saying? I can see why Paul says this race endure. I can see why he says that. Endure. And the truth is, you might go on to be with him. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, son. You got a mic back there?
Yeah, I
So,
got one. Ooh, that's nice. Greetings. I just want to say also too, Paul's thorn in the flesh is important as well. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, he said this thing was bothering me. So we're talking about the man who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, Apostle Gentiles, Paul. But he said, I prayed 3 times for God to remove this thing. And God's, like the apostle just said, God's response to him was, my grace is sufficient. Now, if his faith wasn't there to trust God, even in that response, he could have got upset. He could have brought an indictment against God. God was there doing your work, all of it. And like you just said, I just wanted to get on that point. And that's the process. And that was the scripture you read earlier, Romans chapter 5. You keep going, it says, and glory in tribulations, and tribulations produces patience, and patience produces hope, and patience produces perseverance, and perseverance produces hope, and hope makes not ashamed, because the love of God sheds out no hope. On the hearts by the Holy Ghost. It's a process. It is, and we don't get them over. One more I want to throw out there, and be quiet, is Jesus in the parable of the unjust judge. So the woman didn't fear God or man. She said, you know what, I'm going to get what I want. And the important part about that parable is the judge's response to the woman. He says, you know what, this woman is weary. I'm going to get up and give her what she asked for. And the key to that, the judge was not just, he was unjust. That's a very big key. He said, I'm going to give this woman. And he also goes on, he says, shall the Son of Man suffer his own? Will they cry to him day and night? Sorry. He says, they will, even though they cry to me day and night, I will suffer long when the time is right. So all that ties into the fact that persistence is the key. In faith, we said earlier, the definition of faith is the evidence of things not seen, other things hoped for. We know we have it, even though we don't see it. Does that make sense? But we see faith has eyes. We see it because God said it. God promised it. And he read the scripture earlier. It says, Abraham believed God, and that was accounted to him for righteousness. So we have to get to a point in our walk where we just say, God, that's work. Because it's not overnight. It's a process. It's a walk. But we have to get to a point where we take God at His word, and it's like a horse having blinders. This is what God said. I'm going to stay focused on that in spite of the circumstances, the hardship. The devil can throw monkey wrenches all day long, but I'm going to focus on what God said in 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Thank you.
Never changes. Never changes. No, that's right. So yeah, that's like Pastor was saying. That's all we don't right, but we want to find ourselves trusting God despite the outcome. We want to trust God despite the outcome. If you continue to read, in this from Paul makes a couple of points. He says they heard. He says they understood. He said and he still chose to um, reject it. You know what I'm saying? And so, we being believers, right? We being someone who has heard. You don't just want to hear one time, hear the good news, and continue listening, continue trusting. You progress through your walk with God. You, 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 know, you gonna learn some stuff. And you wanna still find yourself uh, trusting. You know what I'm saying? I think that comes about a lot too when you just out here by the world. You know what I'm saying? I open no way. There's so many different religions, and all of the religions trying to pull you to get you to believe what they do. And we just want to find ourselves trusting in God and His word instead of that's it. Everybody collecting people for all things. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna just pray right quick. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for another wonderful Bible study, Lord. I pray, Lord, that our faith will continue to be developed through the hearing of your word, Lord. I pray, Lord, your word will continue to resonate in our minds and our hearts, Lord God. Lord, in Jesus' name, amen. Stream, appreciate you. We'll be here Sunday at 10:30. We'll, of course, we'll be outside if you want to stop by. You ain't got to get out the car. You can pull up, listen to the service, and go ahead give. What's dollar sign, what's coming, cash app, feel free. Until then, we'll be back here, of course, next Wednesday as well. 6 o'clock. God bless you.